Hello. Hello, hello. I'd like to talk about Midnight Charlie Man. I'd like to talk about a particular movie. It's the 27th of February 2023. I'd like to talk about a particular movie. And, okay, I'd like to talk about this movie, which I watched with Michelle about 10 days ago. And I thought, I gotta go downstairs to talk about Australia. I gotta go downstairs to talk about Australia, but of course I didn't do that. I first saw this movie, I don't know, 3 months after it came out in the 90s. And I remember the first time I watched it, it was like, it was like, wow. And I've seen it numerous times over the years, but the very, very good thing about this whole A movie in general is when I haven't seen it for a while. So I haven't watched it for a while, and I come back to it, and it's just so I haven't watched it for a while. And to say the best thing is when maybe I haven't seen it for a year. Maybe it's just because I don't want it to glare. Can't tell which way it's not glaring. The Paper, right? Directed by Ron Howard, and Randy Quaid is great in it. The best thing is the reason why it's the best thing is because of perspective. So if I haven't seen it for a year, if I haven't seen it for a long time, I go back to it and I'm able to experience it in a different way. I'll take different things from it. I'll see different things in it. And when I watched it 10 days ago, yeah, I was thinking to myself upstairs, I said, what are you going to say about this, Pat? What exactly are you going to say? What am I actually going to say? Okay. So, there's a lot of sort of, not faults in this movie, the way things are said. You can tell they're scripted, but also the actors are doing it's definitely a movie it's not necessarily a timeless movie. It's a movie set in, you can tell it's from 1995. Did I bring my glasses with me? Yes, I did. This is made in 1995, I think. The thing is so small. Of course, it's so small I can't tell what year it was. Oh, hang on, there it is, 94. I can just make out 1994. Don't need to just make out it's 1994. This is from 1994. Very fast-paced. Newsroom, fast-paced, newspaper. But every time I watch it now, I'm watching it. I'm taking it in close, like the dialogue and how it's said. I'm like, okay, so is this an indication? This could be a true indication of what a newsroom was like back then. Maybe it is. And were all newsrooms like this? Yes. Were newsrooms worse than this? More intense than this? I think they would have been. Is this a good model of what a newsroom is like? Yes. No, that's not what I was thinking. It is part. I just threw that in there. I watched the actors in this, like Robert Duvall and Glenn Close, Randy Quaid. I watched them. I looked at them. My perspective changes over time, and this is not a flawless movie. This is one of those movies where the script has so many breaks in it, fault lines in it, that it makes it interesting. It's not a negative thing, but there's so much to re-examine in this. The way things are said, and the way things are conveyed is kind of very interesting, because some of the, like, for instance, spoiler alert, I'm sure most everybody's seen this. Michael Keaton talking to Randy Quaid, and everyone starts coming to the office. And the person who plays Michael Keaton's wife in the movie, she comes in, she's pregnant, she comes in, she just wants to talk to her husband. That's all she wants to do is talk to her husband. And Randy Quaid's like, please let Marty talk. I think that's Michael Keaton's character. He says, please let Marty talk to her husband. Everyone's he stacks up these newspapers, and he fires the gun. Would you really fire a gun into a stack of newspapers in an office with a pregnant woman in there? I don't think that you would, but they did that for the movie. But I'm like, I don't think you would do that because that would affect the baby. I just don't think that you would do that. Don't think you'd do that. And what a weird. Okay. I'm able to watch this movie periodically because I like to examine everything that is said and the dynamics of it. Hello, hello, Midnight Charlie Man. This actually is, it's the, and this way doesn't glare. Realise this way doesn't glare. It's the 3rd of the 3rd, 2023, and the other day I did speak about this movie for a few minutes before the camera ran out. I'm upstairs just now. I've just put an update on YouTube because I hadn't spoken for a while. Things were a bit rattly the other day, as life does get sometimes, and I wanted to speak further about this. Now, I have seen this numerous times. In regard Remains of the Day, Regard Remains of the Day, it's just I've seen it twice, so I didn't have an awful lot to say about it. But this movie, yes, I've seen numerous times. And what I look at in this movie, I look at a few things. I look at the I guess. Also, direction. Ron Howard did some very interesting direction, and I love the fashion. When I'm not looking at a movie, I've seen the paper about 10 times, and when I look at when I've seen it a few times, so it's like a trip down memory lane. And I think of the decade that it was made in. I think of the technology. I think of the fashion, the dress sense, the style, the dialect, and the things that Michael Keaton says, things that Randy Quaid says, Glenn Close, Robert Duvall, how they interact. But there's so many there's a few inconsistencies with the script. It isn't the perfect script, and when I watch it, there's a bit of a sadness. There's a bit of a joy, because each interaction that takes place in every scene, it's a very intense movie, very intense, and even what's his name? George Costanza. Please let his name come to me. Oh, George Costanza. Can't think I can't think of his name right now, but George Costanza. Can't think of his name. Might be, actually, we're going to magnifying glass down here because no. Damn it. Wait. Jason Alexander. Okay. And what I was thinking is that it just occurred to me upstairs that I think the writers would have gathered much information about that sort of environment. There would have been so many stories, and I think what Ron Howard, when he collaborated with the writers, whoever wrote the script, they had so many different stories. They had so many different situations that they'd been in or heard of about newsrooms and that environment. And so I think the movie was put together from a bunch of different truths from that environment, from different cities. And I think that's how that script was put together. The first time I ever saw it, paper went by in a flash, but it's the inconsistencies that interest me, that I look at, and some of it's awkward. Some of it's really awkward because back in the day, when that movie was first released, they seemed smooth. It was funny because as the time passes, some of the jokes in the movie are not timeless, and so they're in that period, and they come across as a little bit awkward. But I appreciate that. I like that. Because I just like to observe it. And whenever I watch this, I see something new. I learn something new. I get something new from it. It's always a new experience. Yes, yes, and that's all. I think that's all I'm going to say about the paper for now. Well, I think that's all I will say about the paper. And also when the movie progresses to the big machinery room where everything happens, just do enjoy the atmosphere. Enjoy the atmosphere of the fast-paced environment which is presented in the paper. So yes, the paper. If you haven't seen it, highly recommended. It's a great fun watch. Great fun, fast-paced watch. Yes. The paper. Okay, so this is not the first time this has happened. It's the 4th of March 2023. I'm literally upstairs. I've converted this to MP4. I'm literally uploading this to YouTube now, and I'm thinking, but I forgot to say a few things. I thought, well, I'll add them in the description, and I thought, I'll just let it go. And I'm sitting there, and it's as I speak now, it's uploading to YouTube. I'm like, I've got to get downstairs. I got to say those things, and then I got to go back in the shortcut and add it. Of all the things I've said about the movie The Paper, it's a big emotional roller coaster ride as well. I mean, it's a terrific roller coaster ride, especially the second half of the movie with I think it's a Robin getting the photo, and the interaction that Michael Keaton has with his wife. It's an intense roller coaster. It's an intense emotional roller coaster ride. I mean, it is intense, and it is a thrilling ride. And I suppose that each new time that I watch it, I do look for something new in it. I look for something different in it. But I want to add this bit that it is a thrilling, emotional ride. Intensity in the scene. The scenes get intense. A great ride. And now I go upstairs and add this. I was like, I can't let it go. I'm just going to go and say this. Alright. Okay. Yes. Yes.